Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name's April and I hope y'all are having a very happy holidays. And today for the holidays we're going to be doing a festive green eyeshadow look with the James Charles and Morphe eyeshadow palette with mainly these three shades right here and the black shade as well. So first I'm going to take Morphe's eyeshadow primer right here and I'm going to use just a little bit and spread it onto both of my lids, making sure to get it all the way up to the brow bone as well. And a little bit under the eyes as well, because we are going to be putting shadow underneath there. Then I'm going to take a brush that I use for setting powder and go into Flashback, the pure white shade in the palette. And I'm going to set that so the shadows can really pop on a brighter base. Now I know James mentioned that he says that it's the best to use the MAC paint pot with these shadows. I actually kind of disagree. Not that it is his palette, but I prefer the Morphe eyeshadow primer with the green shades specifically because I've already used this palette 4 or 5 times. So first we're going to take the shade Social Blade, which is in the far right corner, which is a light matte green, kind of a lime-ish green, and I'm going to load up a really extremely fluffy crease brush and tap that off quite a bit, and then bring it up into the crease, keeping a rounded eye shape and lightly dusting this into the crease for a transition shade. So as you can see, I'm not winging it out. I'm keeping a rather rounded shape because this will be a halo eye. Then I'm going to go in with that same brush again and load it up again with the green Social Blade color, and I'm not going to tap it off this time, and go in a little bit lower and heavier with the green. And I'm making sure to get all the way into the inner corner so I can get it right here so we can create that halo eye. Then I'm going to take a denser brush and going back into Social Blade, tapping it off again and going even a little bit lower into the crease. Then I'm taking that same brush again and going into the shade Daddy, and still tapping off the brush. And I am bringing it all the way in to the inner corner and all the way back out, really low into the crease and a little bit on the lid. Then I'm going to go back in with the fluffy crease brush and back into Social Blade to blend those two seamlessly together. And I'm bringing Social Blade up even a little bit more, so that shade is still peeking through with Daddy. So I'm keeping the space a little bit open for the halo eye, because next we are going to go in with the shade Guac and pack it on the outer side of the lid and the inner portion of the lid. And I'm using a fluffy kind of flat crease brush to pack it on and stamp it on instead of swiping. And I'm bringing it all the way out to the very edge of my eye. And then I'm also going in with even more and doing the same thing on the inner eye and leaving that space still open. And I'm making sure to not pull it into the crease, but keep it completely covered on the whole lid. Sorry if I've been out of frame for a bit. And then I am going to go in with the smaller, more detailed crease brush that had Daddy on it, and not putting any extra product on it, but I'm going to fluff it through so Guac and Daddy look seamlessly together. I also do not have my base on in case of any fallout. I haven't found that much, but just in case. Then I am going to take a flat brush and I am going to go into Face, which is kind of a golden color. We are going to be mixing this with a green highlighter later also. So I'm going to pack this on the center and bring it almost up to the crease, but not entirely in it, so we can get that kind of spotlight effect. Not feel like you need to set the, spray the brush for these shimmers because they are quite intense, but that is totally up for your choosing. I'm going to continue to pack this on and bring it out to the almost to the edge, but not totally, so Guac is still peeking through. And then I'm going to take the shade Ring Light and pack it up at the upper portion of where Face already was. Using the kind of pointed part of the brush so I can get all the way in there. And then I'm going to go back in with the brush that we used for Guac and go back into Guac and blend kind of Face and Guac together. Still mostly tapping, but pulling just a bit. And then I'm going to go back into Face, go on the outer edges of it so it can blend in with Guac, and then going back in with Ring Light again to intensify it, kind of stamping it in again. And then I'm going to take Jeffree Star's highlighter in mint condition, by the way. It's a very, almost a bluey green, and it's not as dark as it appears in the pan as well. And I am going to add that in the center along with Ring Light so it can have a more green effect. And if you use Jeffree Star's highlighters as a eyeshadow, if you dig into the pan too much, you will get fallout on your face. And then next I'm going to go in with a pencil brush. I'm going to go into Spooky, the black shade in the palette, tap off the excess, and on the outer, very outer edge, kind of close to the lash line on the outer portion and a little bit on the inner portion, very small on the inner portion, kind of run it across the lash line to get a smoky effect there. And then to blend that out, I'm going to be taking the shade that the brush we used for Guac again to kind of buff it out with Guac. Kind of very small, tight little circles to blend that out. And I'm not putting any additional shadow on this brush. And then I'm going to go one last time with the brush that we used for Social Blade and run it up through the crease to make sure that everything is blended out. And then I will go in with the same brush that we used for all of the shimmers, go in with a little bit of the mint condition highlighter and a little bit of the shade Ring Light for the the brow bone to get a green effect, slight green effect. And I'm not just going on the outer edge, I'm going along the whole brow bone. I am going to go do the rest of my face, my other eye, and I will be right back to do the lower lash line. Okay, I finished my face and I used a light pink blush, kind of understated. I usually go for a heavier blush, but I went a little bit understated because obviously the green wants to be the forefront here. And then I used the Jeffree Star highlighter that we used in the beginning of the video, Mint Condition. Now we're going to do the lower lash line, and I'm going to keep it pretty simple. I'm not sure if I'm going to make it super smoky at the bottom, but I'll just see where it takes me. So I'm going to take a fluffy crease brush and kind of more of a detailed one though, and run Social Blade underneath the lower lash line and bringing it kind of about halfway in and keeping it really close to my lashes so I can get that blown out effect from the crease brush but not have it come super far down, but still pretty smoky. I think that's what I'm going for, and I'm going to do it on the other eye as well. So you see it's pretty close to the lash line, but it's still got some smokiness to it. And then I am going to take a kind of pointed crease brush, and I'm going to go into the shade Daddy just on the very tip of the brush, and I'm going to tap it off, and I'm going to run that extremely close to the lash line, even closer than before to get it even darker closer. I make such a stupid face when I do this. And then I am going to take a pencil brush and go into the shade Spooky. It is the same shade that we used, same brush that we used Spooky on earlier. And I'm just going to take this on the very outer edge and just barely graze this. Then for the inner corner and kind of slightly under the lash line, I'm going to take Mint Condition, the Jeffree Star highlighter, first and put that there and kind of bring it underneath the lash line. And make sure that it kind of runs into the other green shades to get that super intense lower lash line, and put it in right on the inner corner as well. And then I am going to take the shade Ring Light, tap it off, and bring this to the inner corner to mix with Mint Condition so it's a bit lighter and not so dark, because once you build this up it does get pretty dark. And I'm like when I pull it down a little bit to the under eye, not very far at all, but to bring it down this way to get that super bright and blown out effect to make your eyes look a lot wider. Now I'm going to pop black eyeliner in the lower lash line, and not the lower lash line, the waterline, and just put on mascara because I don't think this look calls for falsies. It's bold, but it's not extremely like winged out or anything, and I'm going to put on a bright red lipstick. Alright, this is the final look. I decided to go with a red lip to match the holidays, but you don't have to. I think a pink lip would actually, like a bright pink lip, would go really well together because I love the combination of pink and green together. Thank you for coming and seeing my second video on this channel. I would hope you subscribe, and I will be posting a video once a week, hopefully. I know there was quite a bit of space between my first video and this one. Thank you, and again, I hope you subscribe and ring the bell. Bye!